All right, good morning, everybody. Let's see. Looks like we got sound. We don't really need this here, I suppose, right? Let's turn the preview off. Hide that back there. All right. Echo ready? One over there. So for anybody that might be new or watching the video in the future, firstly, hello. Welcome to the channel here. My name is Tim. I go by FoamyGuy on GitHub and Discord. We're working on CircuitPython stuff. If you're new to all this, you don't know what CircuitPython is, good place to go to learn more is circuitpython.org. The 50,000 foot view, though, is this is basically an implementation of Python that runs on microcontrollers, which are basically tiny computers. There's a bunch of pictures of them here. We're writing Python code that runs on these devices and interacts with other electronical hardware, lights, buttons, beepers, buzzers, levers, sensors, radios like Wi-Fi or GPS, all kinds of stuff that we can interact with using Python code that runs on these tiny devices. In particular today, though, I am actually working on something a bit different than the usual sort of standard everyday CircuitPython. Today, we will be in Blinka land. So Blinka is the name of, well, it's actually the name of the few things, right? It's the name of the snake mascot, but Blinka in the context that I mean here is the name of the compatibility layer that runs on Raspberry Pi and other single board computers, although as we will see here in a bit, it also runs on Linux, just regular computers, CPython, normal Python, quote unquote, regular Python, not CircuitPython, but regular Python. Blinka runs inside regular Python, and it allows access to APIs that are ordinarily CircuitPython APIs. So this gives you the ability to run code that is written like it's for a CircuitPython microcontroller. It's written like it's for one of these devices, but it's actually going to be running on like a Raspberry Pi, for instance, or one of 100 other, or 99 other, I should say, other single board computers. All these devices, run Linux. They either run Linux or MicroPython, and Blinka allows those two environments, Linux and MicroPython, to sort of have an compatibility layer that makes it work with CircuitPython code. Even more specifically, where I'm at today is Blinka DisplayIO. This is the library that is for Blinka. It's for these single board computers, these normal Python computers. And what it does is give them the ability to output DisplayIO objects onto physical displays, such as here I have it's a Raspberry Pi, I don't know, B something? Doesn't actually say, or it might say on the top, I don't know. It's a Raspberry Pi something down there, and then a TFT, plug-in thing here. It's got a nice, pretty big, 2.5 inch, 3 inch screen, whatever this is. I think 480 by 320 pixels. And this current thing that it's displaying here is displaying through Blinka DisplayIO. So it's running, inside CPython, normal Python on the Raspberry Pi. And it is outputting to this display. In this case, it's outputting over the SPI bus, SPI bus, the pins that are connected on this header. Some of those pins contain the SPI bus pins. That is how the Raspberry Pi is talking to this display. And that's what Blinka DisplayIO is all about. Running these DisplayIO scripts and outputting to a physical display connected to a Linux or a MicroPython device. What I am trying to do with Blinka DisplayIO today is update it to match the recent change inside the core APIs. So if we look at CircuitPython project, one of the things that was just merged is going to be a change to DisplayIO. to kind of start deprecating the display.show method, and instead we would be having this display.root group, and you would set your group into it as a property. This was just merged into core CircuitPython. So for instance, like here's the new way of setting a group to show on a display. You would say like, here's my display object. In this case, it's board.display. You go .root group, you set your group equal to into that root group. So if you want to show a group that you created, like this one here, you just equal it into that root group. This one is a special constant for the terminal. You can set that into there as well. This is kind of the new way. This is what we're going to be implementing into Blinka DisplayIO. One of the differences between CircuitPython and Blinka, I don't think we have anything analogous to the terminal. We'll have to look into that. Does this have terminal I/O? Or inside Blinka, maybe? Okay, 1 second. I will have to go put up something to block the sun. I should have done that before I start, but I didn't. So I'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, that's better. This time of year and this time of day, it comes in this window perfectly. Reflects right off the floor over there, right into my eye. So there is no terminal I/O here. Maybe let's check Blinka as well, the Blinka project on GitHub. Does this have terminal I/O? The thing is, we don't in Blinka. There's no like serial output or REPL in the same way that CircuitPython has it. Like there's no terminal I/O here either. I mean, it's not listed there. Let's look in the code at least, though. No. Okay. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that output, that serial output that we're used to seeing on a CircuitPython device, I'm pretty sure that output is like uses terminal I/O somehow. So if that doesn't exist, then that whole output can't really exist. So that's one difference. That's what we're trying to do. And I think where I'm actually going to start is I'm going to start on the regular computer, on my regular Linux computer, running using yet another project called Blinka DisplayIO Pygame Display. I created this project. This is a project that allows you to use Blinka DisplayIO, what we've just been talking about, to output to a Pygame window, just running on a regular old PC. Rather than a physical display, like this one is outputting to this physical display connected to the SPI pins. This project that I created allows us to output just to a window on our PC. You know, we just create a window and output right to there. Pygame display. It's this project. So we're probably, I have not set any of this stuff up on this computer yet, I don't think. I'm sure that we will need Pygame for sure. Record class, I guess. I don't know. I actually have this cloned, so we could actually just install it from the old requirements file here. And actually, although I don't really want to do it from the requirements file because I'm going to want to be using a custom Blinka DisplayIO, right? Because we're going to be writing code in Blinka DisplayIO. That's all right. I'll install it from here for now. We can just uninstall it to once we start changing code. Okay. Pygame, we got our record class, we got our Blinka DisplayIO. So at this point, I have my little Pygame display thing running. We could go to the examples here. We should be able to just run like simple test, and hopefully it will work. Although I might, do I still need Blinka? I'm not sure. Let's try to run this. Okay, no module named display text, so we'll need that as well, which we can get by using pip, but I don't think I know the right name for it off the top of my head. But it's Adafruit CircuitPython display text, maybe? Oh, there's no pip thing here. Maybe on the release. Should maybe add that. Usually that's in the README. Yeah, there's like one of these lines in the README that Usually it will have what you need to install it. Usually with Circuit too, I guess. I don't know, maybe that one was there. Okay, let's try that again. Run that. Okay, there we go. Here's our window. Doesn't have anything inside of it. I suspect that's probably not what we want. This should probably be like a, yeah, green and purple boxes with Hello World. Instead we got blank black, so let's try to troubleshoot a bit here. What do we see? All this error stuff. Unable to make GL. Unable to make GL context current. Okay, that sounds like probably we're missing something that Pygame needs for running its graphics. Maybe we don't have an OpenGL library of some sort or something. I'm gonna guess that's probably... Ooh, yeah. Oh, I'm with this person. How do we... Boy, I mean, I have a graphics card. I have no idea if Python would be using it or not. Hi, OpenGL. Hi, Qt4. Any idea? Ooh. This is a bit tricky, I guess. Okay, well, yeah, I should have probably had some of this stuff set up before, but I didn't, and so you're gonna get a chance to kind of troubleshoot some of this with me here. So I'm actually just gonna start on Pygame GitHub and see. I'm gonna just kind of start removing layers. I'm gonna try to get Pygame. Hopefully there's like an example of some sort. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get one of these running just with Pygame by itself. Let's clone that. Start there. Once we get Pygame working, then we'll worry about Blinka DisplayIO and everything in between. It's not really a CircuitPython project, I suppose. We'll just go up. I don't think I even have an other yet, so let's make an other. And we will eventually do some of this development on the Raspberry Pi, but I find it easier and quicker to iterate to do this stuff on the PC using this Pygame display once we get it working. Also, it's good. I want to keep using it at the very least from time to time just to make sure it's still working. So if there is anything that's broken, then we do want to get it fixed up. Trust that. Yep, new window. Oh, no, we don't want to VMP. Let's just use the... I want to use the stock one. All right, can I just run one of these like straight up aliens, or what's the is there a simple test? Is there a most basic one? Scale test? Stars? Oscar Wilde? Configuration. Please select interpreter. Oh, yeah, we can do that. Okay. Interesting. I assume that's working fine. Yeah. Huh. Okay. The Pygame launches, but our refresh display area? Okay, I guess let's start heading up this way. So inside refresh loop, this calls self.refresh. Inside Pygame display, this calls refresh display area. Inside here, this calls flip. How's it going, Deshipu? This calls flip, and when it calls flip, we say unable to make the context. I mean, it feels like we should have made the context long ago, right? We probably should have made the context when it got initialized. This stuff actually did work, I think. Did it not have... And it must have Pygame because it spawns the window. It sets the icon as well because Blinka was the icon that it was setting. On specifically Flip, but Flip is like very generic, just draw stuff, I think. I'm sure these must be using Flip, right? Oh, really? Display, pg.display.flip. The aliens uses Flip. Oh my, that is loud. I don't know what this does. Oh, I can drive. Oops, okay, yeah, that's very loud. I assume Flip got called in there. So it's not just a case of Flip not working altogether. This is the wrong one. Axel Magnus, hello Tim, not having the World Cup on in the background. Go US. I do not have the World Cup on in the background. Is it, how do you watch it? I haven't caught any of it. Flip is basically refresh when using a double buffer. Ah, okay. Are they playing right now? Yeah, I guess I think I did hear something about them playing today. Can you watch it online somewhere? More like legit. Like, I'm sure there are feeds, but... This looks like a radio one. I don't know. Swaps the two buffers, flips them. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, that does kind of make sense. So it's almost like maybe we not get the second one? Pygame.display.flip, so we are using the same one. Maybe if we search this error specifically with Flip, I don't know why ours would be failing from our display. Docker container. So, I mean, this is part of another project, I guess, but they're getting the same error. I don't know for sure if this is applicable to us, but... Anaconda? What version of Pygame did we end up with? Let's start there, I guess. It's so weird, though. I mean, there's not... I totally did expect the actual just Pygame examples to fail, too. I guess we should look at the way we initialize versus the way they initialize. (212) is what I ended up on. I mean, we could try... (196), or we could try something before 2. I don't know if it will matter. 96, yeah. See if that makes a difference. Oh, please. Why, though? I think the error was from the first time when I actually canceled it, which is not really an error so much as it is me canceling it, but maybe not. Looks like we don't have it still. All right, some things just don't like to install from this window, honestly. I've had this problem before. So, okay, I guess first let's confirm though at this point it should just fail to install Pygame. Yeah. I mean not install but run. Which is fine. Free type config. Unable to run SDL config. Make sure development version of SDL is installed. Okay. Probably. I wonder if there was some error when we installed Pygame the first time. Maybe there was like, maybe it printed something like this, like missing something that we would need to install with apt. You know, the other thing is we should look at the Pygame. Is there docs for installing? Maybe SDL library. Maybe we're just missing a basic step. I did not actually follow the instructions. It just says pip install actually. Okay, which I did. I did it through a requirements file, but surely I would need SDL though, right? Does this succeed if I don't do a version? It does. Interesting. That's kind of odd, isn't it? I would assume this is a thing we might, like there's something we install from apt probably. So it's got a lot of extra dependencies, it looks like. Python dev, libsdl image, libsdl mixer, libsdl ttf, libsdl, libsimpeg, Python numpy, subversion, libport midi dev, ffmpeg. There's a lot of stuff. Lib swscale, lib avb format, av codec, retype. That is a lot of stuff. I don't know that we want to install that stuff. Probably don't want to go below 2. There are some big changes, but the example you tried works. If the examples work, your Pygame installation. I agree, but I don't know what else to try, right? I found a thread that was having the same error, and they were recommending 196, so that's just a thing to try. It's failing, so it didn't get me very far as a thing to try, it turns out. But I don't really know what else would be the issue. Let me see, actually. Let's see, 1 second. Is this still running on 140? Let me go over here real quick. Pip show Pygame. Version 2.00. I have version 2.0.0 on my old computer, which I know that I ran this before on that computer. Let's try that. Metadata. Why does it do that? I don't want that. I just want bigger. Come on, there we go. Hunting dependencies, yikes. List index out of range. No setup file exists? Subprocess. Not run successfully. No setup file exists. Oh, but this is still dependency SDL config stuff? It's very old though, Python 2. Python 3 dev? Something I could be missing from this? I mean, I was doing Pygame. Is that our problem? Should I be doing Python 3 Pygame? This is also a few years old at this point. This just says Pygame. Are you sure the initialization is run before the code is failing? I'm pretty sure. I mean, pretty sure. I guess I can't say that I'm like sure beyond a shadow of a doubt for sure 1000%, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that these examples worked on my old computer. I could switch my screen and run the same code over there. Try a different one. Just like maybe the simple test is messed up, but the other one isn't or something. Now I get same error. Is there like too fast or something maybe? I guess let's look at the examples. Are they waiting longer than me or something? I'm not call. Do I need to call update? I mean, I feel like something changed. Like I'm almost positive. I'll try it. I'll try it on this one. I want to try it on my old computer, because I'm pretty sure the same code works over there. Fortunately, that means I won't be able to see the chat for a minute. But I'm gonna switch over. I'm gonna switch over and try this. Oh, my keyboard is also not plugged in. That's all right. We'll make this work. Okay, I'll be back in 1 second. Okay. Probably not just leave a terminal here to get typed into randomly, huh? Okay, I cannot see the chats right now, and I don't think I have a way to show this, so like I'll have to do it, see if it works, but I can't really show it on the stream. Right. Okay, we're gonna do this. Got a lot more stuff on the old computer. Simple test is actually modified. I'll run the shapes though. Shapes failed the same way, and shapes is unmodified. They show history as well. What's my modification? I just changed the size is all. Got rid of max size in group. Does this actually have max size in group? That would be a DisplayIO error though, not a Pygame error, I think. No, it doesn't have that anyway, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have an easy way to show it, but the simple test ran over there, and it's kind of like the same repo. That one's Pygame 2.0.0, I guess, rather than 2.1.2. I suppose I could try 2.1.2. I don't really want to because it doesn't seem like I can successfully get 2.0.0 installed, so I don't want to lose it in case I want to go back to it. If this had successfully let me install 2.0.0 from pip, then maybe I would try upgrading so that I could see, but I don't know what the problem with installing this was, so I mean, it's maybe this SDL thing. Flip and update do pretty much the same thing in practice. This is the wrong one again. So I go Pygame display extends display inside a init. We set some variables, set some more variables, make a list, make this none. Call super init, which is up to this. We just give it a fake init sequence since we don't have an actual display. And none for whatever the first thing is, self, I guess, or I don't know what that would be, but we give it none. We do have initialize. Where does this get called from? I guess part of the system must call this. Yeah, I guess in order to override display, I suppose we have to have an initialize here. So maybe it gets called from in here. Init sequence gets passed in, but we ignore it. We do Pygame init. If we have an icon, we set the icon. And that part does actually work. We set the caption. Self.pygame screen equals display.set mode. Width and height gets stored on Pygame screen. It's interesting we're calling set mode, but also storing the result of that. That feels odd. Write and release, we don't do anything. Refresh. We look for events, basically to find the quit button. If we're running, we are going to go through our subrectangles, creating images and copying pixels into them. Well, this one is finding the refresh areas that need to be changed, it looks like. Or making images for them. Now this part's making the images here. Cropping, rotating. Create it, so this is taking it from a PIL image into a Pygame image. And then screen.blit and then flip. We don't blit it. Does it still crash? It does. How's it going? Good morning, DJ Devin. USA scores one of the strangest goals in history. Game's alive, 15 minutes remaining. Hope it's still alive. Sweden's not in it. Seems to be on Fox. I could probably put the sound on maybe over here. There you go. I got it on in the background, loud enough for me to hear. And I will say, one of the coolest parts about soccer for sure is if they're yelling goal. So somebody will score and we'll hear a nice goal in the background back there. I don't think it's coming through, which is probably good because it's copyrighted or whatever. I don't need to be restreaming it. They're playing Netherlands, who won Group A. Okay, so the blit does not cause my problem. I mean, my only real thought is like if it's not done yet, like if it's not ready yet or something, right? I don't know. No. It still fails the exact same way, but it just waits the 2 seconds. So it's not like it's not ready yet. I mean, if it is not ready yet, it's still not ready after the 2 seconds. Oh. Sound like we got something there. Well, I was meant to be working on Blinka DisplayIO. Now we're troubleshooting Pygame. Is it a problem if I never call update? Like, only call flip? And did it ever change, I guess, is part of the thing, too, because, like, this definitely did work. I want to try 212 on the other computer. I could do a virtual environment. I can't stream it, though. I don't want to just be like me staring over here working on a computer that you all can't see. Flip does update. Okay. What's the simplest example? What's the, like, most basic one of these? Why would I do that? I'm not just gonna punch a chimp. You kidding me? Thing will rip my arms off. Let's try to find the most basic example. These all are like examples of other stuff, kind of. I don't know. This is not really what we want. gosh. Feels like one of those days, I guess, right? We just can't get one thing to go the right way. Okay, there's like a million extra spaces, which I don't really get, but okay. This does import pygame, pygame init, set mode. This is a list. This is a list. Mine's a tuple. I want to say mine's a tuple. Mine's a tuple. Could this matter? Initialize? I mean, are we getting into here? We must be getting into here, right? Because we're loading the icon. Should we have tried sleeping after init? Maybe we should try sleeping at the very end of this. Must be Monday. Yeah. Not playing bad, but not great enough to advance the quarterfinals. Netherlands by far the better team. Okay. Yeah, we are definitely getting into there because it prints this, right? But we still just sleep extra time. And it doesn't matter. It fails as soon as it flips. And we also failed when we flipped if we didn't blit. Maybe let's try sleep here. I don't really think it will work, but I'm gonna sleep for less time too. If it's like a race thing, I imagine it's gotta be not very fast that we need to slow down, but I don't really think it's gonna work. Yeah, okay, same thing. So let's keep looking for differences. Set mode, list versus tuple, that's one. While running, did they do that? Yeah, screen fill. Screen? Screen is that, okay. Screen.fill, pygame.draw circle, screen, and then flip, and then quit, and quit is outside of while running. I mean, list versus tuple, is it really? Would that make it not? Or are these like null or something? Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Are these broken somehow? $400, $300. And now we get the same error. I don't know. I'm about out of ideas here. I do not get this at all. Pygame screen. I mean, we're not using Pygame's. Oh no, we are when we blit. What if we do only flip and nothing else? No. Still fails. Doesn't close very quickly either. You have to wait for this. Diagram screen is what's, yeah, return from set mode, yeah. For a second I was like, do I need to call flip on that? But that's not true, it goes on this. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what the differences could be. I'm not really. It's almost like the init doesn't work or something. Is there a way to check if it initialized correctly? Threading? So the other difference is the old computer would actually be on a lower version of Python. This maybe not support Python 3.10 or something? But that can't be though, right? Because I'm running Pygame stuff. Alright, do we just skip to the Raspberry Pi? Feeling pretty defeated by this, truthfully. Precisely why I set out to make my own Python game console. Well, I mean, in Pygame's defense, the Pygame examples work fine, right? The actual Pygame stuff is running. I will say it's frustrating that I can't install like version 196 or that I can't install version 200. I do find that a little bit frustrating. But Pygame 212 installed normally, running their own examples, they do work fine. So I will give them that. It is still kind of a difficult thing to do. I am with you there. Like CircuitPython level, be able to just open the thing and run the, edit the code and run it, and not necessarily worry about installing Pygame or anything on a PC definitely is a lot easier for sure. But like, it's so weird because some part of it is working, but I mean, we probably would not need this, would we? But then how are we gonna get into initialize? We probably wouldn't get into initialize if we didn't call this. Trying to like pair out some of the CircuitPython stuff and just see if I can recreate the same issue without as much Blinka or CircuitPython in the mix. I don't know why I added this, I didn't mean to. Following file has staged content different from both the file and the head. Okay. I still want to remove it. Oh, I got this duplicated now, I see. Okay. So I'm like, is being inside of an object breaking it? I'm at this point, I'm just trying to like bridge the gap between the basic test and the Pygame display, Blinka DisplayIO thing. Like, try to find a middle ground where we can make it fail, but it's simpler and I can play with it easier. So part of the problem here, though, is we're never actually making our display. So in this case, though, I'm never actually calling flip. Object has no width. Were there any additional parameters in set mode in the examples? There were not. Just the list of what I assume is height and width. Which is also the same I got. Is it display.setMode? Check that. Yeah, pygame.display.setMode. Width and height we don't have, so let's just make those as something. Okay. Have a window, it's spawned, nothing has happened on it, but it's spawned, we don't have the error yet. We filled it, but we didn't flip or update, so we won't be able to see it. That's not right. Is it? It's pygame.display.flip. Could we call it too fast? Is there a too fast? So I guess maybe because this is doing a list of subrectangles, maybe if we have multiple subrectangles and we call this really fast. Although I added a time sleep in here and I don't think it didn't make a difference, so. We only go inside there once anyway. So, and I tried without doing any of this stuff. And it still failed. I was able to call flip here without doing anything else and it succeeds. Able to make GL context current, so we still got that, and we just went inside refresh and then inside refresh display area. Yeah, we did actually have terminal IO. I wonder where that came from. Inside refresh. Okay, this one spawns the window, and we're inside refresh over and over again. I assume we never go to refresh areas because we never have anything change. Nothing. So this is looking for subrectangles that have changed, I think. Get refresh areas. Yeah, these will only be areas that have changed. And actually, I don't know if it'll ever give you multiple. I think it will, if I recall right, it actually just gives you the full display, but it won't give it to you if it doesn't need to be changed. So like if we print this, it'll be empty. Run it from here. Yeah, empty list. I could figure it about soccer for another 4 years. Okay. Could we just go display dot pygame screen dot fill? What was this? How did we do that? White? Hero? Let's do pink, actually. And then it shouldn't change anything if we don't run update or flip, so, okay. I guess this one gets weird though, because I'm doing it from inside of here. Maybe I should have rectangle. That one works. Rectangle struct. Does Pygame itself use threading? Or does Blinka DisplayIO use threading? This is my error. Threading. Did Blinka DisplayIO, does it use threading now? And if so, did it always use threading? There's the terminal IO. But it actually only just has font. Well, that'd be interesting. It's the REPL. Does. So I think that probably it doesn't like the fact that flip is being called from a different thread. My guess would be that it didn't used to be this way, although I don't know. I mean, that says, seems like it goes back quite a while. Interesting. Refresh thread is none. Auto refresh setter. That's the last one. It does not seem like it would be new. But threading probably did it. It changed between Python 3.9 and 3.10 and stuff. Or I think I was even on 3.8 maybe. Actually, I have Python 3.9. Can you make a virtual environment of a different Python version? Like, can I make a virtual environment of a lower version of Python than what I have without installing the lower version? Not look like it. I need the base interpreter. It's like... You have to install that Python, but you can have several versions. Yeah, I don't want to really, though. It messes up my stuff. I don't know how to manage it right. I thought this was DisplayIO with a big I/O for some reason. Doesn't have anything for threading. I want to say 3.8.10 is what I had on this computer. You download it. Oh. There's a 3.8.15. This is 3.10.8. Oh. Fair enough. There's... So we go this maybe? I don't know how to build it. I feel like trying to build Python 3.8 is just going even further down the rabbit hole of this, honestly. So we got 11 stuff now. Yeah. Got a bad feeling about this. I really feel like it's not just going to be super easy to get Python 3.8 from this. Maybe it will be, though. Hopefully I'm wrong. Or it's going to be super easy, but it's going to wreck my actual Python. gonna like take it over. Yeah, see? I don't want this. How do we don't, I definitely do not want this. I want the thing that's Python 3 right now needs to stay Python 3. Can I make it without installing it? If I just make it, will I get a binary? Yeah. No makefile? Do I really care if this works? Kinda. It'd be nice to have confirmation that there's a difference between Python 3.8 and Python 3.10. My assumption is that difference is something to do with threading, and that difference is causing our thing not to work on Python 3.10. That's my kind of hypothesis right now. If I could get 3.8 running, I could try it on Python 3.8 and confirm whether that's the case or not. Unfortunately, like, the next step is still fix it, right? And having Python 3.8 doesn't really help me fix it. I need to do this, I guess. Configure. I think I need to do configure. Why does this copy extra stuff sometimes? Okay, not found. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to build it. I don't know. I don't know how to get a binary from this. Yeah, it would be nice if venv. It'd be nice if it was backward compatible. Like, I wish Python 3.10 could make a venv of Python 3.9 or 3.8 or... Oh, sorry. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. But it'd be nice if they could go backwards, right? I don't want to have to get 3.8 in order to make a venv of it. Or, and I'd be fine with this too, if I have to get Python 3.8 to make a venv of it, I don't want to have to build it, right? Could we just go download a binary? Maybe I'm oversimplifying things, but could I not get like an app image or just like a runnable thing that's like, here's just Python 3.8, you know, like thumb drive version or whatever, right? Like not installed, just a binary. Portable version, they call that, I guess. It's like, I don't know how to build it. I don't really want to be building Python. I want to be working on Blinka DisplayIO. But I'm like several layers past that at this point. .configure. Extract the tarball. Configure the script. CD Python. So we're inside there. So configure didn't work though. I ran configure. Do I need the // I guess? You do need the // Interesting. Okay. See, and then the thing is, though, I don't want to install. So if I'm going to try, I guess, just make. I'm going to hope that sudo make is going to build a binary but not install it. Good morning. How's it going, C. Grover? Good morning. Just getting up after a marathon. excuse me, marathon session, restoring a vintage guitar pedal. Oh, nice. Trying to get back to the world of coding. Do you have like pictures or anything? I think my wife is like really into guitar pedals right now. She's trying to make one. I bet you if you have photos or anything, I bet she'd be interested in that. Mature audience is statically compiled binary. There's people working on that, but each new replace, it takes them 2 steps back. I see. Yeah. I wish that it was just easierly available for. I'm hoping that just running make. I also have no idea how long this takes either. So this is like an hour-long build or something. Then probably not gonna wait around all the way for it. Honestly, I don't feel like I've got very much done today. We haven't got very much done today. We're already almost an hour and 20 minutes in. I mean, what we got done is like figured out it doesn't work right now on my computer. The Pygame version of my display thing. I guess I could have been just using the Raspberry Pi. I'd like to get this worked out too, though. As painful as this process is, I do want to have it solved, so I'm probably the best person to be able to solve it as well, if it's specific to the Pygame DisplayIO layer thing. I'm thinking if it is threading, let's go down the hypothesis that it is threading. Let's go down the hypothesis that it's going to work fine on 3.8, but that something changed in 3.10 or 3.9 that changed the way threading worked and makes it so that it no longer works now. I think what we would probably need to do is like have our display be single threaded somehow. Like somehow be able to signal the superclass display that we don't want to use a thread. And the only place actually where the thread really gets done is auto refresh. This doesn't get used. And then when it actually does call refresh, though, well, that's what's getting into refresh display area. Nice. But auto refresh is exactly what's calling flip. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is, I guess we want to, we will basically need to override this, I think, auto refresh somehow to not be a thread. It feels weird to me though that the thread is. How come we don't like run the thread inside refresh? How come nothing happens? Oh. Well. Huh. I find it odd. I don't quite follow why there's nothing to do with threading inside refresh, only auto refresh. If I were to just set auto refresh false, if I were to just set auto refresh false, and then call refresh, I guess. Auto refresh bool. Doesn't have catch Fran Blanche on YouTube. I think she has. Yeah, I don't know regularly or not, but she definitely has. There's at least a couple episodes when she used to make Fran tone pedals. Flanger. Nice. Yeah, I'll send her. I bet she'll be interested in this. She's like literally working on trying to make one right now. Not this specific thing. I don't think it's quite this complicated, although I actually don't know either, truthfully. But it's some kind of guitar pedal. Thanks for sharing that. Bran has done guitar pedals for a while. Did this ever succeed? Like a bin or build? Python? $17. I guess there is just Python here. Okay. Yeah, okay. So so what are we gonna do? We're gonna go here. I'm gonna try this actually. False. If we set this to false, does it still crash? No. Doesn't update anything, which makes sense. If we call refresh, does it update anything? Oh, also I can't close. Ooh, interesting. It's frozen or something, maybe. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Another thing I want to know, though. Another thing I want to know. Let's say we don't have this, and we don't have this. This crashes. Same error we had. But what if probably shouldn't just randomly have this in my downloads, but I'm gonna for now. Okay, now this is gonna run inside that Python 3.8. Does it succeed? Of course of course it does not, because it doesn't have Blinka DisplayIO or any of that stuff. Does pip? I don't know. No. Doesn't work. I don't know where its site packages are either. Just kidding, I found its site packages. All right, we're going old school Python install here. Take that, take shapes. I don't have shapes actually, okay. I'll take those two only. Anything else? I think we would need something else too probably, but old school Python install. Still failed. Oh, I don't know then. Would this need to be all of this stuff? Did I put it in the wrong place or something? I don't know. I don't really want to be like installing these things by hand. Yeah. I don't know how, I guess though. Well, okay, actually now that it's in here, can we just use this thing? No. Python packaging tool is not found. Love the pedal hack. Did you make a new PCB? How's it going, Johnny? Okay, that gave us pip and setup tools. Did it? Maybe. Did we do this now? No, because it doesn't have OpenSSL because it failed to build that as an SSL thing. Yeah, I'm full circle. I have libSSL3. They're on the desk, I see. So this is Perl? I do have this, but I assume it didn't use it or it didn't work or something. Something didn't work. Didn't make the PCB yet. Got to reverse engineer. The available service guide was illegible. Process developed a process to duplicate the original hand-drawn traces. Whoa. How'd you do that? CircuitPython guy on a podcast. All right. I think that I care less whether or not Python 3.8 works, knowing that auto refresh false makes it work. I'm pretty confident in my hypothesis about just there being a difference in threading. It seems like this always was threaded, but it seems like it used to work for some reason in Python 3.8. My guess is that it was like not actually threaded. My guess is that it was still a single thread under the hood somehow, and somewhere along the way Python got better and it made something an actual different thread maybe that didn't used to be. This is kind of my hypothesis about what the difference might be. Yeah, because threading is at least 3 years old. At least 3 years ago, this got threading, which has got to be pretty close to when it was created, honestly. It seems like it probably just always had threading. How does it tell the thread what to do? Self.refresh loop. What is that? While auto refresh. So we do actually have kind of a problem, don't we? We do actually have kind of a problem. Threading is ancient. Yeah, Simple Electronics. I messaged the address yesterday. I have not seen anything back, but it was like fairly late in the evening yesterday, as I recall. I messaged him after I was talking to you. No, Scott doesn't have a podcast. Scott's been on that Simple Electronics podcast. Uh-oh. Oh, Dino got mad. It'll be all right. We do have a tricky situation, though. Because the threading is actually what allowed this to work, I guess, without you having to do this. So I think first of all, what changes? We've changed this a bunch by now. Let's just roll this back to... Actually, let's look at the difference. Prints, flips, prints. Lots of prints and stuff. Okay, yeah, let's just roll that right back to repo state. Let's override auto refresh. How do we... How do we do that, though? Because super init is going to call to display, but we really want to be entirely overriding auto refresh. We're not going to do any thread stuff anymore. Instead, we're just going to track it as the Boolean, true, false. You can update it. True, false, and then I don't like it. I don't like it as the way to do it, but... The only thing I could think that makes it so that we don't just have to add a stipulation of auto refresh is false and you have to call refresh every time. The only thing I could think to do is make this a property and be calling refresh inside of it if auto refresh is true. I'm not super thrilled with that as a solution, but I think it would work. So I guess we do that. Do we need a setter? Yeah. Need to relax, Dinobot. It's too aggressive. It's a tricky balance. Like, I will say it is frustrating when it deletes your stuff. That is true. That being said, I happen to have access to the channel where we can see all the stuff that it deletes, and it deletes a lot of trash as well. So if we laxed it up some, it's likely some more of that stuff would come through. Hey there, Firelokes. I'm guessing, yep, that was you. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate the follow, my friend over there on Twitch. Good to see a Python developer using PyCharm. I've been using IntelliJ IDEA for years for Java, and naturally went with PyCharm for Python. Much better than VS Code in my opinion. I do use VS Code for HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Be watching and lurking while I do my finals online for college. Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, appreciate you hanging out, lurking, watching along for a bit. Definitely a huge fan of PyCharm. I had a similar avenue into it as you. I was not using IntelliJ IDEA, but I was using Android Studio, which is pretty much built on IntelliJ IDEA. And I used that for a few years, got kind of ingrained in the JetBrains sort of IDEs, and then once I got into Python, I picked up PyCharm. Mostly for the version control helpers that are inside there, truthfully. No. I don't know how to use the moderator commands, as you could probably tell if anybody is looking on Twitch. So I've like totally bungled this up now. I got the bottom half. I don't know how to get rid of this. Doesn't seem like I have moderator commands. Oh, and now I can't see the message because I popped it back out, so that's cool. All right, well, consider that a polite decline. And, oh, I can see it now again. So I will resume actually trying to ban you and delete this, Andrew, for asking for to pay followers or whatever this is. I don't want this. Thank you, though. Not really thank you, actually. Mostly just don't paste anything anymore, please. I don't know. I don't know apparently how to use the mod controls. I've used it before. I'm pretty sure there was a thing like hover or right click or something that was really easy to figure out. Does not seem like show mod icons. Is that show mod actions? Show mod actions certainly sounds relevant, right? Ah, there we go. Okay. I'm back to regularly scheduled fumbling with Python code instead of fumbling with Twitch interface. People have been begging JetBrains to release a Git client as the Git support in their IDE. That would be pretty sweet. I would totally be on board of an IntelliJ or a JetBrains, I should say, Git, like just the Git GUI client by itself. I mean, that was one of the things really that helped me learn version control, like full stop. Like without the helper training wheels that PyCharm provides, I would not have learned version control very well. I don't think it would have taken me a lot longer. There's a little CircuitPython coding needed for the calibration phase of the pedal. Oh, nice. Used an AD99833 programmable waveform generator to test for tones and sweeps. We're going to go def running. Whoops. All right, so I think the bad news is we're probably not going to get into the actual Blinka DisplayIO changes. But I do think we maybe got this solved, so it's good to like actually feel like when we sit down next time to do this, we'll be able to start doing it, and this will work in the way I'm thinking with Pygame Display, the whole same way I wanted to do it today. So got a chance to watch some problem solving today. I know I was a bit down on it for a while. It does feel good to have solved it though, so that's always a nice thing. Well, to solved it, like worked around it, I guess. My hypothesis, I suppose, like testing that to see if it's actually accurate with 3.8, and then I suppose even further to go back and look into differences of threading, that would really be telling us if my hypothesis is right or not. But I do think the solution, whether or not that exact thing is what's happening, it seems like this is going to solve it either way, so I'm pretty happy with that. Although, like I said, I don't necessarily care for the way that we're going to have to do this, which is where we're going to be refreshing from inside of here, which doesn't feel very good. But so like here, we're basically going to say whenever you access running, we're going to go if self.auto-refresh, then self.refresh, which, you know, doesn't feel like an appropriate place for it. But I don't think we have any other way to do it, because without the thread running this for us, it has to be in our code somewhere. There has to be something that calls it, since we can't rely on that thread to do it. Now, one question is did this actually override everything properly? I have no idea if it will actually end up working. Okay, right, we're still on Python 3.8. Let's go back to 3.10. And that again. No. See, now we have maximum recursion. Oh, so wait a minute. Maximum recursion? Maybe I started patting myself on the back a bit too quick. Looks like we're not quite. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty close to the solution. The way we were able to do it with refresh made me think we're good. So I guess the problem is inside refresh, it's actually accessing auto refresh. Or no. Inside refresh, it's accessing running. But then inside of running, it's now calling refresh. So we can't be doing that. So I guess this one will just be underscore running. There we go. Really advanced. Yeah, I will second. Yeah, totally. It's always awesome to see the stuff that you share. You're always working on super amazing, super cool stuff, I think. So, totally agreed there. So, we got it back to working with the same API, which is nice. Let's revert this. I don't think anything relevant has changed. It's probably just a space, yeah. Comment reminds me I need to publish more on 3D printables. Always something new to learn. Yeah, totally agree with that as well. I feel like I learned a lot today. I learned how to build Python 3.8, although not with the right version of SSL or whatever. "15 minutes left, basically, to the normal time. I usually stream about 2 hours. I usually stream at least 2 hours. Sometimes we go over. Is there any other way I could do this? I mean, I don't think so, right? Like threading is the solution that allows Python code to run without being in the normal flow. Without threading, there's no way that self.refresh can just be getting called every now and then. That I can think of. So there's not, I mean, is there like a set interval or something? Does Python have set interval like JavaScript does? I've never run across that. If that exists, maybe we could use that. That's cute. Okay. Yeah. All right. Threading is the answer. So, yeah, not really is the real answer is not really, because the only way to do it is with threading, and we know now that threading is not letting Pygame stuff work correctly. So I do think, you know, like I said, it does not feel very good at all to be that like you're accessing running, which used to just be a Boolean, but now I made it a property so that it can have a little bit of behavior. And then inside of your check of running, it's now going to be going, hey, is auto refresh on? And if so, then I'm going to go ahead and call refresh. Yeah. I don't like it too much, but I can't think of any other way to do it. So I think that's what we get. And I will commit that. It is foamy guy. I'm the only contributor to this one so far. I don't believe anybody. Maybe have we had any PRs? Maybe we had one. Maybe we did have a PR to fix something. Usually I think I have just been pushing to main though, honestly. I probably shouldn't, but I did burn. There's been three, in fact, actually. All right, well, maybe we'll make a PR. Let's make a PR. We might as well do it correctly, right? Let's do it. Does that pre-commit? Does. Wonder if initializing Pygame in the updates thread instead of the main thread would make it work. But then the regular refresh call. That's true, yeah. That's an interesting idea, yeah. If you put the initialize in the same thread, maybe it would. Sounds like threading support will be a necessity in the future. No, I mean I don't think it becomes a necessity. I'd say like it's either a necessity or it's we have to modify the way it works, which is kind of like what I did here is modify the way it works in order for it to have a way to work without threading. Boy, I have no idea what I just did. Somehow these are now down here. I have like a third window. I will say I really do enjoy PyCharm. Sometimes it gets a mind of its own a bit as far as like the window just like doing something crazy that I'm not really intending for it to do. I probably make it worse because I kind of idly click. I click and highlight a lot, whatever I'm looking at, or I don't know, I just click too much probably. I'm clicking and dragging and causing trouble, but missing a function method or a docstring. We'll at least leave a note about it as well in the docs, I guess. That's a good thing. That way, future Tim or whoever may be working on this is not just going to be like, why are we refreshing from inside of running? This makes no sense. Maybe we should even actually say reuse failed, but it's probably just because I created extra files, right? Yeah, these files are not getting committed. I wish I could limit reuse to only the files that are committed. If anybody knows how to do that, I would be most appreciative. Alright, I think we're good though. I will make a branch git checkout -b -b, let's say remove threading or override auto refresh from foamy guy. No, origin main, no track. Push that, so remove override auto refresh to remove threading functionality. Yeah, get this thing. Checking for threading. Yeah, well, maybe checking for threading. I don't know how to check. I mean, really, the crux of it is like, and again, this part's still my hypothesis, so I could be wrong about it, but what I'm thinking, what I'm understanding so far, my understanding is the existence of threading or not is not necessarily the crux of the issue. The crux of the issue, from what I can tell, seems to be that there is a difference in threading between Python 3.8 and Python 3.10. And that difference is really the crux of it. It seems like Pygame never really was intended to support threading, but it seems like under Python 3.8, even though it wasn't intended to, it worked out all right in this use case. But then in Python 3.10, something changed internally with threading. Again, that's my guess. That has made it so it doesn't work with Pygame, which it never was intended to, but it did coincidentally before, and it no longer does. And so you'd have to like check for whatever that thing is, whatever that difference between 3.8 and 3.10 is. If that actually exists, then that would be the kind of the thing you'd have to check for if you were going to try to write something to like use it if it would work, but not if it wouldn't. But I don't even know what that would be, truthfully. The actual specific thing, I don't know what it would be. And again, I still could totally be wrong about that as well. It may not be the case, but that is what it's feeling like here so far. Because 3.8 was what's on the other computer, and that was working. And looking at Blinka DisplayIO, that was always using threads, so somehow it managed to do it before. Possibly older version of Pygame 2, I guess. That's the other part of it. I had Pygame 2.0, which we couldn't get installed on this one. Maybe that one was more forgiving when it came to the threads. That could be a possibility as well. I wonder, can you check if it's a knitted or not? I am curious about the idea. I think Dishipu mentioned it. Yeah, if you could initialize it in that other thread. I'm kind of curious on that front. Maybe it might be. I don't know though. I feel like we're always probably playing with fire if we keep the threading in the mix. We're kind of always playing with fire, even if we happen to find one that does work. It seems like it's technically not really meant to be working or supported, so it would be nice because that would let us get rid of the running thing. That would let us not need to put the refresh logic inside running, which would be kind of nice, but I wonder if we're always just going to be like, it's eventually just going to break one day for a similar reason. And then at some point we have to move it back out of the threads anyway. Could see that happening. I may give it a try still, but we'll see. I already failed one. Build docs. This rings a bell. This is unrelated to my specific thing here, but I think that's probably the solution. Okay, let's see if that succeeded this time. Did I commit that? Oh, didn't? Did I push? I did, okay. Okay. As long as that passes, I'll merge it. Because again, like there's no other contributors I don't think that are regularly working on this. So I don't necessarily think we'll get a review or anybody to test it anytime soon. But we'll at least make sure it's passing. We'll merge that, and then next time I come back, I will be getting into the Blinka DisplayIO stuff. I don't know when. Possibly we'll be back tomorrow. I've been popping on for a bit on Sundays. I think I did last week, maybe the week before as well. Don't remember the week before very well, but so maybe I'll be back at some point tomorrow to work on this. It would be nice to get a bit more of it done this weekend because, yeah, I anticipated working a lot more on Blinka DisplayIO specifically than the Pygame layer. I did not necessarily think we were going to run into such an issue. But I'm happy we got it taken care of, so next time we come back to it, we will be ready to just start right in on the Blinka DisplayIO. And the good news is, honestly, I don't actually think that the API change will be, I mean, knock on wood, I guess, because I didn't think this would be as much of an issue either, and I was wrong. But I think that the actual API change won't be that complex or convoluted. I think we'll add the setter to set the current group, and I don't think much else really will have to change, truthfully. It's actually less complex than the core because it doesn't have the CircuitPython terminal, I think. So there's like fewer different cases of what can happen that we have to handle inside the code. So that'll be the plan. Like I said, I might be back tomorrow for that. I don't know for sure though. Maybe Monday. We'll have to see how the day goes. If you are interested, obviously, in watching that, what you can do, of course, is follow me over on Twitch. Then you'll get notifications if you enable them for whenever I stream. But otherwise, I do appreciate everyone watching along. I appreciate everyone hanging out in the chat here. Thanks for hanging out with me and chatting along while I worked through the issues and got Pygame back to functional here on my PC. Hope everyone does have a good rest of your day today and a good weekend and all that, and I will catch you all next time, whenever that may be. Thanks for watching.